I would use this all the time. I wish I could do that with my MacBook. As funny as that is to say.
He's a phantom.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to episode 132 of the Jack Ruhl Show. Wow, 132 episodes. This is weird. I'm getting nostalgic a little bit. But hey, everybody, today we have a fun recurring guest, Mason Romero. What?
Twice. Haha.
Mason, how's it going?
It's going.
Alright, Mason, today we have some interesting stuff to share. Let's make today's episode about photography. Today we're going to share our top 3 tips for photography. Mason and I, today, we're going to share our top 3 tips for photography. Mason does a lot of nature, a lot of portrait. He's just a great photographer. I'm more of a on-the-go photographer. This is Mason's contract. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but this right here is something Mason got. It has this sling right here, and it kind of just, and so you kind of have a Han Solo type thing going on right here. But yeah, it's just so cool, where you can attach your camera here, and then it hangs at your side, and you can whip it up like that and take your shot, take your photos, all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, it's just really, really cool. I think it's a useful tool for photographers. I mean, mainly photographers. Helps filmmakers as well, but mainly photographers. It's cool, right?
Hey, RL Handcrafts. Those are the guys that do that, and they make awesome stuff. It's sort of expensive, but it's worth it in the long run.
Mason, you just got some new equipment, did you not?
Oh, I got a lot of new equipment. All right, so I mean, that's one of it, but this is the major new equipment. Just came this morning, took me all morning to set up. So right here, we got the Surface Book 2. Just came out in November 7th, I think. And then I like this. This is the Arc mouse.
Whoa.
Pretty radical.
That's dope. That's
Right?
kind of flexible a little bit.
Well, it is. It flattens out so that you can put it in places.
Do that again, hold on. Oh my gosh, that's cool.
Yeah, man. Surface Book is known for its detachable screen as well. Turns into a tablet. You can see I have all my simplified games and stuff right here. I'm usually not too good on the spot, by the way, so...
Dude, you're killing it. Keep going.
I don't know. I got Photoshop this morning, so now I can actually edit my photos for once. That's new.
What makes you choose the Surface Book 2 rather than any other computer?
Alright, well, with all my equipment, camera equipment, anything I'm making a huge buy on, I do research. And that's point number 1 for photography. Research. Always do your research. I researched basically the best things to use to edit photography. The equipment, it wasn't even the Surface Book actually that came up in my search results. It was the Surface Pro. Surface Pro 4 back when I searched it. Then Surface Pro 2017 that just came out a couple months ago. But that was just mainly because Windows...
It's very practical. It's very efficient.
Yeah, efficient. You can do a lot with it. You can do a lot more, I feel, than with Apple. Now, if you're in the Apple ecosystem, it doesn't make sense to like switch over to Windows or anything. So that's when you stay with Apple. Like, you got an iPhone, you got an Apple computer.
I was gonna say, for me, it wouldn't make sense for me to get the Surface Book 2 because I have my iPhone that I shoot with, I have my MacBook, like all that kind of stuff where I'm a very Apple-based photographer and videographer, where I can get time lapses on my iPhone, and honestly, if Windows and if Android had something like AirDrop, that's the sole reason I'm sticking with Apple right now, because I would not stick with Apple just for the fact that I have to have this dongle for the new like MacBook. That is the worst. But the fact that Apple has AirDrop and it's just a fast, efficient way for me to get videos from my iPhone to my computer, that makes it a whole lot easier. Plus, all my apps can sync, all that kind of stuff. So for me, Mac makes it worth it.
In regard to Apple, you know, I love Apple, love the look of it. Very simplistic, very easy to use at times, obviously. The thing about it though is it's limited, and that's what I don't like. Now, once again, if you have the same ecosystem, if you already have a phone, it's only a good idea to stick with Apple. But otherwise, I have an Android. I could have gotten an Apple computer and it still would have worked. It's just that I feel like you can do more with Windows. Apple is always very limited with their stuff, and I feel like one key component, one of the biggest reasons why I choose other things over Apple is simply innovation.
Apple at times, like they always innovate. Like even this is innovation. But sometimes they try and push it too fast. Like, it doesn't bother me, but sometimes it's just like it takes adjustment. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I guess I'm a little biased, I guess.
And me too, a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why, like, I feel like we should have a debate sometime. I'd like that.
That'd be a good
to have
episode.
a debate. Yeah. But yeah, just the general idea of the Surface Book. I mean, this is a lot of innovation. The Surface Arc mouse, I actually have a slot in my camera bags that fits that perfectly. You can go ahead and like move it. Do you want to play with it? You want me to hold it while you play around with it?
All right, let's see.
Go. And you can switch the orientation however you'd like.
So, if I wanted to, what should we do right now? Should I draw it myself? Let's see if I can draw myself. So, actually, I could draw Danny Phantom if you guys want.
Danny Phantom. I like it.
All right, so Danny Phantom kind of has this arc-shaped head, and then, not arc-shaped head, but like his hair kind of does that. And then he has that long thing right there, and then it kind of goes up, and then goes down and over. You have his big ear, that kind of thing, and then just loops over. Of course, you have his big eyebrows. And then he kind of has that sharp nose. So there's that, and Danny Phantom has that signature. His arms kind of go there, and then his other arm comes across.
Oh yeah.
And then you have his neck, his torso, and then, you know, like that. And boom, there's I don't know.
That's Danny Phantom Season 1 before the emblem.
There's Danny Phantom. I mean, his hair would kind of be a little bit better than this.
Hey, everyone's got to get a start.
Danny Phantom, everybody. So, I mean, that's cool. That's something I haven't seen very often. Wow, alright. I'm convinced this is super cool. I would use this all the time. Awesome.
Be awesome.
Jack Ruhl. Well, that's cool. I really like that. Well, Mason, thank you for letting me try that out. That is seriously cool.
There's one more thing I want to show you, Jack.
Alright, Mason, tip number 2. Guys, we're going to change it. Not tips for photography, but tips for equipment and photography equipment, that kind of stuff. So, Mason, what's your second tip?
Tip number 2. I forget what I said. I'm not good on camera.
I'll do tip number 2. Tip number 2 for me is know your equipment. What that means is just understanding that build upon what you know. If you need to start with an iPhone, start with an iPhone and then slowly get better, where eventually if you get to the point where you can get a DSLR, that's great. But don't go buy $1,000, $2,000 worth of equipment that you don't know how to use. Build onto what you know.
My first camera, it wasn't even digital. I used a film camera, an SLR Minolta, and I started from there. I went up to a point and shoot camera. It was a higher end point and shoot, and I saved up for it. And then I went to a DSLR. So like, if I went straight from, you know, point number 1 to point number 3, I would have been so confused. I needed that point and shoot in the middle for me to actually understand manual for a DSLR.
And then the third thing, Mason, what would you say the third thing should be?
Practice.
Absolutely. Practice, practice, practice. Allen Iverson, he didn't practice. But for photographers, videographers, anybody who wants to use a camera, practice as much as you can. The only way you're gonna get better is by shooting.
I'll tell you what, it makes it 100 times easier to practice when you're practicing something you love, that you already are doing in your spare time. Like your boy behind the camera right there.
Put yourself on a deadline. For me, it's 1 video per day. But for Mason, do you have any deadlines for yourself?
Once per week, make 2 or 3 edits of photos, because right now I have like a whole cache of photos, like 3 years worth of photos that I've taken and not edited, because all my photos I've ever taken, they just go unedited until I had the equipment to.
All right, hold on. Our 3 tips were, what was the first tip?
Research.
Research. First tip's to do research, 2 is to know your equipment, and then 3, practice. So if you can put those 3 things into effect and do them every single day, research your stuff, get to know photography, know everything you can. Your curiosity should lead you all these different places that you start to figure out like more and more things that people aren't talking about, and as soon as people start to talk about them, you're already an expert, and that's gonna get you paid. Mason?
My curiosity has led me to some of the most exciting places I've ever gone.
Well, everybody, hope that helps you. Hope you can take that value and apply it. Start practicing, start putting it into action. That's the only way you're gonna get better. Mason, anything you want to say before we leave?
Be awesome!
I like it.
There we go.
Hey Mason,
Hey.
this photography seems like light work. 'Cause we have a light.
I want to cry.